I'm Shanika MacEachern, and I'm from Annapolis Valley First Nation. So what's been going on is that our community and some people in our community has been in a protest against our chief and council for them to be accountable for their elected positions and fulfill the duties that they're supposed to be. This all started months ago, like September, when I started putting a little push on for a housing issue that I was having. And every time I tried to speak to them or reach out to them, I was either getting ignored, no replies, or an absolute refusal to speak to me. And at that point, we had 5 empty homes, 4 of which would have been suffice for myself and my family. In January, when I went down and they refused to speak to me again, and I started talking to other community members, you started to see a pattern of the same issue of not getting replies or not answering or not speaking to you about other issues, whether it be health or education or social assistance. It just seemed to be a routine thing for them to just push people's needs aside, and we collectively came together and said, like, we have to do something and we have to stand up against it, and therefore the protest began. Well, the protest is still going on, and I think we're on day 37 now, but it's been quiet. It's been good on our part. Like, nobody down here has been violent or, cursing and swearing at other people. We've seen a lot of letters that chief and council put out that kind of made it look like all this stuff was going on, when in reality, none of it was going on. Most of the community members that live up here and off reserve and non-natives were down at that protest at some point to visit and see what was going on. And all of them agreed that none of those sort of things were happening, and that everything had been peaceful and quiet, and just us sitting out there taking a stand and trying to hold our chief and council accountable. I've texted them numerous times. For my housing thing, I've been texting them since September, but other people have been texting them, and during this protest, a lot of people have been texting and calling and emailing, and they're not coming out. We've been to the office. We sat there one day for 14 hours. The one day they did open earlier in February, and they sat in the back room all day and then snuck out the side doors and just left us in there. They put out a lawyer letter, and then earlier this week they put out a new bylaw, and they posted BCRs against the 5 people that occupied the empty homes. The 5 people that occupied homes were either families with children, or people that were living in overcrowded situations, or people that were about to become homeless and have been trying to get a house within the community for a while now. And again, chief and council were giving the runaround or not responding. And it's all, oh, we need to have a housing meeting, we need to do this and we need to do that. But it doesn't take 6 months to get 4 people who live in the same community together and have a meeting. The bylaw is about 6 pages long, and it's basically a list of rules of things that people are not allowed to do or else can suffer repercussions by chief and council. And those repercussions consist of being banned from the community, being banned from businesses or facilities in the community. And they also stated in it that they have the right to withhold money. So a lot of those rules were basically things that also just went against rights in general. You can't ban community members from like a First Nation community. Yeah, so it's frustrating, because it looked more like a dictatorship paper than anything. There was a lot of rules on it that consisted of, you can't loiter in any space within the community if it's not on your property. You can't have fires. You can't walk down the road and have a smoke. You can't loiter in businesses. Yeah, you have to have permission basically to have anybody at your house, even if it's just like for the night or something. Like nobody can stay at your home unless you have permission. So it was a lot of rules, but a lot of things that were just against human rights anyways. Like you can't tell people they can't have family visiting. You can't tell people that they can't have a fire, especially on reserved land. Like people have sacred fires and stuff, and they can't tell you can't do that. The RCMP know about these bylaws, but at this time are not reinforcing them. They posted these bylaws and the BCRs in hopes that the RCMP and calling for the RCMP to help them reinforce them. But at this time, I've heard that they are not reinforcing them. Yeah, so I'm hoping that out of the meeting, we kind of have also somebody that can mediate all the issues, because everybody's issues are a little different, but they all come together in the sense that they're all being neglected. And we all want Chief and Council to speak with us and hear our concerns and our voices. But also, I think they need to be put in their place on what their rights are and what our rights are, and how what they're doing is unconstitutional. So, and I think that somebody with a lot of knowledge of the treaty rights and the constitutional rights could come down here and voice that and educate them as much as they can educate us.